Hello, welcome back to the second video of this Setting Digital Boundaries workshop. We talked on the last video, obviously, about the dangers that are available online, things like adult content, predators, cyberbullying, sexting, how so much of the cyberbullying and sexting can lead to suicide and things like that in teenagers and negative self-image. And so in this video, we're going to start with step one of the SAFE plan that we've put together. Step one stands for setup. Step two is accountability. Step three is filtering. Step four is education. So for setup, the critical, most important thing you need to know is that most of the time, the devices that you've bought for your kids have some kind of parental controls built into them. Now, there are several Android devices, different versions of the operating system that don't have anything built in, but there are easy to find and free to download options for parental controls. So I recommend out of the box initial setup for these devices. If you're getting this device new for your kid, maybe for a birthday or for a holiday or something, I recommend that you set up this device before they get it. So take it out of the package, put all the parental controls in like you need to, put it back in, wrap it back up and give it to them. And that way when they open it and they get it, they won't know it any different than with those parental controls set. So set it up right out of the box if you can at all. Also, you need to remember that there's ratings in there for everything. There's game ratings, music ratings, apps, movie ratings, and think of app ratings and video game ratings like you would a movie rating. Think about how if it says an age, you really want to pay attention to that. Most social media sites are going to be rated 17 plus, or browsers are going to be rated 17 plus as apps because they have what's called user-generated content on them. And user-generated content means the developer of that app can't tell you what your kid might see, so they recommend you be an adult to use it. So pay close attention to that. As you set up those parental controls to protect them from apps above a certain age, it's going to block those apps where they cannot download them. And in some devices, it won't even show up in the App Store. I recommend highly that you turn off sharing and location preferences. Be careful with sharing. I don't necessarily mean turn off sharing, but definitely be careful with sharing and how much they're able to share online. Remember that social media sites have age limits. Most of them are 13. And that's because there's laws in the United States that say that they have to be extra careful with data from children under the age of 13 years old. And so they say you're not supposed to use this unless you're 13. And so there's reason for that. And so I highly recommend following the age guidelines for social media when it comes to sharing. And I highly recommend turning off location on anything that doesn't absolutely require it to work. Google Maps obviously need your location. The star finder where you're seeing the star constellations, that's going to need your location. Weather is going to need location. There's certain things that are just going to have location, but you can go in and set it to only use your location when it's absolutely necessary and when the app is being used and not in the background, so it's not sharing the location with stuff. Definitely don't want your kids to be sharing their location on social media. As I said in the previous video, this is one of the ways predators find out where you spend a lot of your time. Something I highly recommend as well, at least on an iPhone, is going into your image, your photo settings, your camera settings is where it's going to be, and turning off the location options in your camera. So it will not tag your photos with your location, because when those go onto the internet, people that know how to find them can find out where you spend a lot of your time based on where your pictures were taken. Crazy, right? Yeah, but it's the truth. So I highly recommend with setting up your kids' devices that you pay close attention to all of those things. In review, we're going to pay very close attention to the out-of-the-box setup. We're going to be sure that we can set this up before they get it. If you can't do that, then you're going to have a conversation with your kid and tell them, hey, we're going to set up some parental controls, and they're going to wonder why. And you're going to have to just talk to them about why and be very clear and open and honest with them about that. Don't forget that these ratings The game ratings and music ratings and app ratings are very critical. Games especially, think about a video game that's rated mature as an NC-17 movie, because they're able to get away with a little more in a game. And then with location preferences, you're going to want to be careful with those as well, because of basically that's sharing where you are, and you don't want the entire internet to know where your kids are all the time. Please email me at kmichaelprince@gmail.com and let me know if there are any questions you may have about setup. The next video is going to be about accountability. Then we're going to talk about filtering and then education. Thank you very much. We'll see you in the next video.